Is the right to die as important as the right to live? Dr. Death, Philip Nitschke, thinks so, and he's not alone.
There is a debate that's gathering momentum around the world by populations which are ageing about access to rational suicide. That this should be your right. Not something you have to argue about, not something you have to ask for, not something you have to qualify for, but your right.
Jag har pratat lite faktiskt med min dotter då, om det skulle vara så att det skulle gå att få hjälp med att gå bort.
We allow the animal to have this kind of relief. Why do we not give everybody that right?
Se ei tunnu hänestä hyvältä kuolla Sveitsissä. Se sama voidaan tehdä Suomessa.
I was Googling the phrase, how do you kill yourself peacefully?
I'm gonna be executed then Friday.
Ready to go? I'm ready. Close your eyes.
We don't use illegal products. It's a totally legal process. You can climb in and peacefully die.
Hela våren hade jag gått lite med sån här konstig känsla i vänstra sidan. Men det gick om lite när man lite gjorde så här. Sen får jag till läkaren då efter midsommar. Där satte hon en tid åt mig då, eller en remiss till bukultra. Och där berättade hon då att de har upptäckt en fläck på bukspottkörteln. Klart. Tankarna börjar ju snurra. Och man tänkte att jaha, vart leder det här nu då? Det blev CT-röntgen. Sa han. Ja, han har ju tittat på den här bilden och det här. Att tyvärr så har jag en elakartad tumör då. Och jag hann tänka, jo men den går att operera. Så säger han, som har då spridit sig till levern. Då blev det nog svart.
Think about our conversation in the canal for the past 15 years, and all of a sudden we're sitting here Saturday, which is the last Saturday of us together and the last Saturday of your life, and we're talking about a funeral plan.
Yeah. It's not a just very quickly solve it.
It's just planning for you.
This thing needs to be,
It's just the planning.
If you don't do it, nothing will happen.
Don't worry, you will be buried.
I know, but...
We will take care of it.
Yeah.
You will have to trust me.
Yeah, but I want to do it.
I understand. So the date of your death is signed by you, and you want to plan your funeral.
Yeah.
To the details.
I know the detail, but...
So I would say to you, probably that will be the last thing you will be able to control.
Yeah.
And that's such a finale to Albert life. The OCD life finale.
If you would come here, say, Albert, I arranged it, it's this and this and this, I can do this and this and this.
I will arrange it.
I'll be very happy.
Albert, I will arrange it. You have to be sure that me and Monique are going to arrange it. It's going to be fine, Albert. You have to rest about this issue. Just leave us with peace in your heart and no worries in your mind about the arrangement of the funeral. It's so minuscule compared to the big thing that you are dying.
Okay, so guaranteed here.
Guaranteed here. Guaranteed here.
Okay.
Okay. I just want to share with you guys a story. He found out that he had brain cancer on the 11th of May, 2017. At the 11th of May at night, he was standing up in the living room and looking down at me and say, I'm going to die, I have a brain tumor, and you're going to be a rich widow.
Only if you're a doctor and if you have consulted one independent doctor, then it is allowed to end a life of a patient.
Right.
And of course the request must be totally voluntary and not influenced by others.
Of course, yeah.
Of course. And I am then, in this case, the independent doctor.
I think it doesn't. Seriously, I'm not in good shape.
No, I can see that.
And disposing this is not a good one. My opinion.
I need to make a report to make sure that Dr. Rich doesn't get in trouble. Because also in the Netherlands, killing someone is illegal unless it's a doctor, and you have the suffering must be without hope, and it must also be insufferable or unbearable.
If I go wait and keep on going, I will be. That's it.
Yeah.
You want to die because you want to free yourself or free us? Because I was asking him to stay another week.
Yeah.
Because I want another week, just a week. And
yeah.
So if he wants to do it for me, and I asked him to stay
I don't
a
do
week.
it for
Yeah.
you.
No.
So it's
No, that's not okay. I understand.
not good.
Yeah.
You should. If you go sit here,
Mm-hmm.
it's not good.
You wouldn't be yourself.
No.
You would be like a vegetable
Yeah.
or.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's okay if I say you're afraid of becoming like vegetable-like or
That's the big problem.
and no consciousness.
I'm already there partly.
You are?
Yeah. And that's also if I'm in coma. There's nothing I can do.
That's true. Yeah.
And then I'm sitting there. Can take some time.
It could take some time. In which time your wife could still take a little bit care of you. There could be a nurse.
No, that is a bad one for me.
Yeah?
Because then I miss my whole thing.
You miss your life. Yeah.
It's not good.
Well, it's okay for me to leave it at that. I'll write my report and Dr. Rich will tell you everything you would like to know. Yeah?
Appreciate it.
Okay, you're welcome.
Thank you.
Well, I was hoping you would not approve it.
Sorry? You was hoping? Oh, no, but no. No, I will approve it. I'm sorry for you. Yeah.
How is it to do a work like that?
Well, I'm always impressed by that, that almost always the patient is really totally at the end of his tether. And that family around it is much more, well, they find it difficult to accept. It's never the other way around.
He went to the doctor last year in May to sign for it, and he came and told me about it. I said, "What?" So yeah, that's if I will not be good, and if the cancer is back, I want to die. So I said, okay, whatever. I really did not take him serious, I have to admit. I thought he was just saying that. I didn't believe he will do it. I have to say. Till last week, I did not believe he will do it.
So how many days do you have left to live?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 weeks.
How do you feel about that now?
Very positive. It's the best I could do, you know.
Right,
Well, it's good.
right.
and that's going to be executed then Friday.
Yeah.
And next day, Saturday, I will do the nice thing opposite here in the church. That's the story.
When push comes to shove, the patient is not the one who decides on their euthanasia. It is the doctor who decides and no one else. So don't be under any illusion that if you pass medical model legislation, you will not be in control. The doctors are in control. That is not a right. A right is not something you ask for. A right is something that you have because of who you are. How I got into this issue? Yeah, it was almost accidental because I went back and did medicine very late in life. I was about 45, I think, when I finished medicine. And I went back in Darwin working there when I heard one day on the radio that the head of the government there was planning to bring in a piece of legislation which would allow a doctor to give a lethal injection to a terminally ill patient. And I thought, that's a good idea, and went back to sleep. And then all hell broke loose. In the next week, the medical profession, my new profession, came out with this, saying, this is a dreadful idea, this is never going to happen, there's not going to be a doctor who will agree with this, this is a dread... And I'm thinking, well, I thought it was a good idea, and the people thought it was a good idea, the population were very keen, but the medical profession and the church were coming out very strongly saying, this is not going to happen, we are going to make sure such a law never passes. They were saying to the population, you think you know what is good, but we know what's best for you. So I got annoyed with it. I came out and said, well, that's not true. There are some doctors who support it. I'm one. So I started, in fact, the reason I got involved was really politically, out of campaigning for the law. Having got it passed, then of course on the 1st of July 1996 it came into effect. And then in a sense, I was the one of the very few doctors who were supportive, and so suddenly I had to sort of make it work. So it was only about 2 months later when a person who was dying of prostate cancer came along, and that was Bob Dent. And so it was on the 22nd of September of that year, 1996, that Bob said, I'll die on Sunday, come around for lunch. And that was hard. And it was because it really was crunch time. I didn't want to go and give him a lethal injection by putting the needle in, so I built this machine that was going to do the job so he could press the button and the drugs would be delivered, and that was to get me out of the picture, and also to make it very clear that he was the one running the show. He had to press the button. I had these questions on the laptop computer saying, do you know that if you press this button you will die? Are you sure you won't? So 3 times. Had to press it 3 times. And that was really to make it quite sure that this was not someone who was demented or didn't know what he was doing. He went press, press, press.
He used a computer hooked up to lethal chemicals to assist 4 people in Australia to take their lives when assisted suicide for a short period was legal there.
And I sort of realised that that became the world's first legal lethal voluntary injection. And it had succeeded, but it was a bit of a stressful experience. This was at the press conference that was held straight after the death.
Bob Dent died last Sunday.
We shared a meal and we shared a drink, and then he indicated that he wanted to proceed.
He'd activated this computer program which administered a lethal injection.
Sleep is almost immediate from the administration of the very fast-acting barbiturate, and that is followed by a slower-acting barbiturate and eventually by the muscle relaxant, and death occurs within a few minutes.
It was the first case of voluntary euthanasia since it became law in the Northern Territory in July.
So I went through another 3 of these before that law was overturned by the Australian federal government in Canberra. They said that the Territory should never have made such a law. So it lasted only 8 months. And after the law went, people kept contacting me saying, well, what can we do? You can suicide, and people said, well, how can I suicide? So that's how I got involved in telling people, well, you can do it yourself. You need to know what you're doing. You need to know what drugs, how to get them, how to use them. And first thing I do is I work out, are they sick enough for me to want to help them? But after a while I found that this was being challenged. People are saying, who do you think you are? You're assessing people whether they fit your criteria for being sick enough. And then you dole out bits of information to people who you agree with. And so I was challenged about that. They said, and I got accused of medical paternalism too, because she said, you set yourself up as a judge. So I thought, yeah, that's right. And so then I moved across from that idea of what we would have described as a medical model, where sick people get help if they satisfy criteria, to a rights model where I see this as pretty fundamental right, that every person, if they're of sound mind and they're an adult, should have this as a right. And that's why we started to publish the book. The book got banned and everything else, because that's what really led to the trouble with the medical board. But then they said, you know, you can make a choice. If you want to stay a doctor, take your name off the book. You can be Fiona can write it, she can publish it, she's a co-author. But you can't, so you've got to get your name off the book. And I thought, oh, for goodness sake.
Dr Nitschke's book is banned from sale in Australia, and it is illegal to import some drugs he recommends, which has led to police questioning older Aussies who've apparently bought them after tip-offs from customs.
How many people do you think you've assisted to kill themselves?
It'll be thousands. It's become the world's best-selling handbook on how to end your life. That's my book.
Niin, se Exit International oli hyvin tärkeä, että kun kuultiin siitä. Ja sitten vaimo meni siihen jäseneksi ja sitten me saatiin semmoinen niin kutsuttu käsikirja, jossa kerrotaan esimerkiksi se, että en nyt muista kuinka monta, mutta lähes kaikki mahdolliset itsemurhatavat käydään läpi ja siinä sitten näkee selvästi, että mikä on paras tapa, eli sitä samaa lääkettä, mitä Sveitsissä käytetään. Se on varma, se on täysin kivuton, nopea ja sen takia sitä käytetään myös Yhdysvalloissa, esimerkiksi näissä kuolemantuomioissa. Siellä kerrottiin, että mistä sitä voi saada ja sen jälkeen sitten vaimo lähetti sähköpostia Meksikkoon. Mutta sitten, jotta asia varmistuisi, hän tilasi myös sitä Kiinasta. Ja sitten siinä oli niinku jännittämistä, että jääkö kummatkin tulliin vaan toinen. Ja kummatkin meni läpi. Ja
Miten paljon se maksoi?
No se on se suuruusluokkaa 600 €.
Vi hade ju då bokat en resa till Spanien. Skulle fira då 2 veckor i Spanien med familjen och barnen skulle komma med och deras andra hälft också. Men det blev ju inte av, för jag fick reseförbud. Och så tänkte jag att men nu ska vi nog fara någonstans, att till Sverige fick jag fara. Så vi bestämde då att ta båten över till Umeå. På morgonen steg jag upp, gick och duschade, schamponerade håret. Och då tänkte jag bara, hemska saker. Jag hade händerna fulla med hår. Så då hade det börjat lossna. Jag tappade ju inte allt hår på en gång, utan det tunnade bara ur. Så jag klarade helgen i Umeå ganska bra. Men vi hade hår i hela hotellrummet. Så jag tänkte att de ska nog fundera då, de som städar efter oss. Ja. Och då kände jag nog att då blev jag nog sjukare. Och sen blev jag ju ännu sjukare när ögonfransarna och ögonbrynen for också. För nu är det konstigt att det gör ändå så mycket det där håret. Det sa jag i ett tidigt skede till Magnus att jag hoppas verkligen att jag inte behöver ligga länge och att jag måste ha sjukt. För det vill jag inte. Absolut inte. Det skulle vara det där hemskaste.
Vad skulle du vilja ha för hjälp?
Att man kunde få bestämma själv. Det skulle nog vara egentligen det som man skulle vilja. Om den dagen kommer. Jag har ju pappa och som gick bort här i oktober. Och man såg ju hur ont han hade. Och då tänkte jag på mig själv.
Att möjligheten ska finnas kanske ska vara bra. För om man hamnar liksom ett paket eller vad ska jag säga. Det kan ju vara värdet.
Nej.
Men om jag inte är något enkelt beslut, men om det finns möjlighet så kan man ju överväga det beroende på situation.
Man har ju ett val då i alla fall.
Ja. Både för- och nackdelen med att det finns möjlighet till välja då förstås.
Ja, men här vet jag också att du vill alltid mitt bästa.
Ja.
Mm. Så jag vet
Ja.
att du skulle kunna ta den dagen om jag skulle säga. För då vet du att det är det bästa.
Ja.
Mm.
You've been eating carb like there is no tomorrow. He eats carb, carb, carb. He only likes carb now. He doesn't. I made him, force him to eat fruit. I cut for him fruit. I have to go and buy milk because he's drinking milk. Maybe he drinks 3 liters of milk a day. I really do give him whatever he wants. I would have never done it. He takes beer to bed. Beer to bed. Like, what? It would have never been anything that I would have done. But here we are.
He's not easy to please. Sometimes he's very demanding, and there was a lot of moments that I really felt very frustrated. But I told myself, Nava, he's dying, he's sick, be good, don't be a bitch, to myself. But he ordered me around all the time. Lately he ordered me around a lot. He doesn't even know that he does that. And he didn't want to take any help. And he wanted me to be the only caregiver that he has. And it's including I want pancake now. So I had to stand and make for him because he wants now pancake. So okay.
Life. Listen good stuff. I love this. That is the best for me today. And I love it.
At that point, when you know it's going to be over, 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, it's not really going to make you happier. Yes, now I want Tuesday, 1 more day. Yes, I do want more. But I know logically, what are you going to do with another day? What are you going to do with another month? What are you going to do with another year? It's going to be a shadow over your head. I don't want to have our relationship to a point that he's a baby. He already started to be a baby, but at least he has a lot of hours that he's not a baby. So I have my Albert back. Few hours a day.
My name is Maya Marie Calloway. I am a former film production artist that was working in New York and Los Angeles. And I was doing some work at night, and I came out and my left leg stopped moving. And I got really, really scared, and I called the neurologist on call, and they did a workup. They sent me to Cedars-Sinai. They found lesions in my spine, and at that point they said, you know, you have MS. You've probably had it for a while. And everything just fell apart.
When was the first time you thought about ending your life?
Well, before I actually understood about the prognosis with progressive MS, I was thinking, you know, oh, stem cell, you know, holistic healing. I was trying to reach for anything I could. And as those methods became exhausted and I really understood my prognosis and I was watching my body become more and more paralyzed, I thought there's got to be a way out. And so I remember Googling the phrase, how do you kill yourself peacefully?